Black women wear a lot of hats. And I think one of kind of our superpowers, but also struggles, is trying to figure out, one, defining all of the hats, but then two, figuring out how to juggle all of them. I won't say balance, because personally, I don't really believe that balance exists, because I picture that as like this 50-50 complete equilibrium, and I just don't know, at least not in my life, that's not possible. But being a Black woman, you are managing like being Black, being a woman, a lot of times being a mother, being a wife, an employee, just all of these different facets. And it's easy to get caught up in what you are to other people as opposed to who you are for yourself. You hear people say like you can become roommates with your spouse. And I think the beginning of the pandemic was that it was like, we're gonna muscle through this because we got kids to take care of. We have to figure out how we're gonna pay bills now. So you're just gonna muscle through it. But to be married to someone and to play roommate with them, it doesn't jive very well. So then it became, all right, we're in this situation. What do we do? Because I know how I was. I said, I'm not living the rest of my life like this. I'm not, like we said, till death do us part, and I believe in that wholeheartedly, but at the same time, I'm not going to die prematurely in this marriage because we're refusing to really acknowledge the issues that we have. And for me, I don't like arguing. I don't like fighting. I would much rather just not talk. I don't want to be bothered with it. It doesn't feel productive. But that was something that I had to learn in my marriage. I have to fight. You have to fight. And sometimes you're like, you feel like you're tackling the problem when really you're attacking the other person. And so it's trying to figure out, how do I change my verbiage so you understand what I'm saying? How do I actually bite my tongue so I can try to hear where you're coming from? And how do I have an open mind so I can see, okay, it's not, 95% of you, maybe it's only 80% of you and 20% of what I'm doing. Like, just really trying to learn how to change these mindsets and like things that I just developed over the years. The time together, which at first was torturous and very difficult, became something that we looked forward to. Like, we loved being together with our little family of 4. And, my kids, who before would see my husband every couple days because of his work schedule, now we're seeing him every day. They were waking up and getting to see him. They were getting to go to bed with him, tucking them in. And we spent time together, like time that we never had a chance to before. And I feel like it completely changed the dynamic of even our household. Like now, things are starting to go back to normal a little bit. He has a new job, a new company, all of this stuff. But it has laid the foundation for where we go from here. And both of us are on the same page as far as, number 1 is God, number 2 is our marriage, and number 3 are our kids. And everything else has to fall in line after that. And so just seeing the transformation that can take place over months, which doesn't feel like a long time when you feel like you're at the bottom of the barrel, but seeing what has happened, it honestly blows my mind to know all that we went through and also accomplished in the span of a year. I mean, because for the longest, someone asked me like, who are you? Tell me about yourself. Immediately I go into naming who I am to other people. Like, I am, Dionna Carter's wife. I'm mother to Autumn and Phoenix. Which is great, like these are the roles that I play, but like who am I? Who am I as a person? I'm a writer, I'm a poet, I am, a community activist. Like, I do all of these things that bring me joy, and it's not just about my role with other people, but it is like who I am. And I think Black women in general, that's something that we all kind of have to figure out, because it is really easy to slide into those roles of what we do for other people, because that's just our nature a lot of times. Like, we are so much to so many people. We love a lot of people. We encourage and support, and all of that is great. But it's easy to lose yourself in those things and not really think about like who I am as an individual, like apart from all of these other people, who am I? And so I think that's kind of the constant struggle, but also, like I said, a superpower, because we can do so much and we do so much. Do I exist if you can't feel my heart beat the melody to my story? Phraseology gets lost in the arguing of philosophy. Nimble fingers unlock the cage when I engage through pen. I unleash the real. A desire so palpable it has a face. Eyes filled with the understanding I've craved on its lips, my name engraved, cheeks flushed, embarrassed to need validity, but real also reeks of complexity. Raw, unbridled malevolence masked typically by obedience, agonizing insecurities sown by words flung like stones, a passion so hot it sears as it seeps, even my own hand withdraws from its heat. Guarded, lock and key, liberated only through intimacy, a space you've accessed fleetingly. Questions remain. Am I seen? If you've no eyes to read my mind, tears absorbed by logic, cogent rhetoric threatens vulnerability. Is it in vain? Bereft of an audience, do words retrace their steps? Am I left unheard?